my opinion, Ms. Rain is the shero of this film.
Well, thank you.
Very much so. And it helps to balance out the whole weighty subtext and the platform of the abuse and all that Precious has to go through. What backstory did you give Ms. Rain?
Oh, that's, I got to keep that kind of to myself a bit, but because backstories are interesting, and I wouldn't want to temper the movie. That's my own personal thing that I come in with, and Lee, his idea of what the backstory may be, and he's the painter of the paintings. I wouldn't want to tarnish his painting with my ideas, but I think you can tell that Miss Rain has a lot of pain and her own feelings of being unworthy and unloved by her family. We've learned that she's a lesbian, and you can see that. And there's a moment in the film that is just touched upon when they're sitting together after the party for Precious, and she's won her literacy award, that she lets down her guard with Precious because they become like family now, and she reveals that she's had some tough times, and that by watching Precious, she's now become the teacher and I the student on how to embrace life, be strong, because if she can overcome everything that she's overcome, what am I sad about?
I'm glad you brought up the aspect of her being lesbian, because in this country we're so homophobic. And the way that your character was introduced in that way did not beat us over the head.
Yes.
It did not make a political statement.
No.
The political statement, I thought, was made when Precious' character said she got love from you as opposed to her parents.
Yes, gay people didn't rape me.
Yes.
Didn't beat me. And that's what I love. I mean, that's what makes Lee a genius filmmaker, is that he allows you to follow Miss Rain, love Miss Rain, up until this very moment you're like, what? And that's how life is that most of us, even if you are homophobic, that's why they've always done segregated people.
Yes.
Because they knew that most human hearts can get past race, gender, sexual preference. And if you don't know what anybody is, you can love them as a human being.
Exactly.
And that's the beauty of a film, is a film can bring you closer to people that you never knew or you wanted to judge, like a Precious or like a Miss Rain.
Yes.
And that's what's brilliant in the film. And it's funny you bring that up, because while I knew I needed to have a real person to shadow, to play Miss Rain, the teacher, as a school teacher, I thought long and hard about if I wanted to meet anybody who was a lesbian, because I really believe that love is love. You love somebody, doesn't really change who you are. It doesn't change the teacher you are. So I decided not to sort of research being a lesbian at all, because if I have the capacity to love, I have the capacity to love anybody. And I'm just glad you touched on that, because I don't think that changes anything about a human being at all.
We have to learn that. I grew up in the South, and homophobia was just in the air. And one of the things I credited my parents for is never making it an issue in our household, because they were just people in our community, just like anybody else.
Absolutely.
So, and I thank them for that, because I ultimately moved to the Bay Area.
Yeah, which you have to be open-minded.
Totally.
I mean, that just shows you, it's really, a lot of it's just taught. It's fear-based, it's what's taught. Mary, Precious's mother, is disenfranchised and is put in a segment of people that are talked about and judged, right? So she needs to find somebody to talk about and judge. And that is a sad state of affairs about human nature. It's like the newest immigrant is the one that everybody's going to pick on, because the people that felt like they were pushed aside and now are going to push back and the next person. It's like a fraternity or sorority initiation. Yeah. Listen, you just got hazed horribly, and then you decide to haze the next one. I never understood that. To me, if I've been done wrong, I don't want to do wrong to anybody else. But a lot of people don't feel that way, unfortunately.
I agree. I did pledge a sorority, so I agree.
Yeah.
I totally. Now, let's just sort of talk about Lee Daniels as an entity. Oh, he's
honey, that's Lee Daniels. Honey, let me tell
Oh, my God.
Honey, Oprah called me. Anyways, no, Lee's a genius. I love it. He's such a personality. I mean, he's a star. That is really the genius, is that Lee is so magnetic. I'm like, you need to be in a movie. There's pictures of Lee Daniels from the set. He has so many different emotional faces.
Really?
That, his boyfriend, his husband, really, Andy, brought out just recently for me all these pictures I hadn't seen of behind the scenes photos. And my husband Rob and I were together. We're like, Lee, you should be an actor. Look at all of these. You just range from the joy he feels everything 200%. That's what I love about him. He's the most passionate person. I just love passionate people. If he's sad, he is down in the gutter, in pain, sad. If he's happy, he's screaming from the rooftops, and I love that about him.
Now, you mentioned Lee's partner, your partner, of course, your husband, Robin Thicke.
Yes.
And Lee's friendship with Lenny Kravitz. Did the four of you ever get a chance to hang out?
We did, and that's what Lee was so cute. Like, Lee was like, Robin is like Lenny in that Robin has no homophobia, and so he's very comfortable around gay men. Hug him, let's hang out, let's talk, because there's no issue. And Lenny's like that. Lenny's so secure in his manhood. He doesn't care, and Lee's like that. It was a really big compliment to Robin when he said, and to me, I chose well. That he was like, Robin's probably the first straight man since Lenny I've met who's really comfortable around me. Can fully embrace me, and it doesn't affect him in any way. And I love that about my husband. He's just a very open heart, and he's very confident and secure with who he is. So he has no issues with anybody else. Not judgmental at all.
Now, it seems that the two of you, you and your husband, are sort of reaching an apex at sort of the same time. Because it seems to sometimes have been, when you were working, maybe he wasn't in the spotlight, then he had this huge hit album, and then it's like, so you guys are sort of apexing together. Does it feel that way?
It does. It feels like we're growing together, and we're really thankful for it. We both sometimes say, God, how lucky we are, because it's been a journey. Hasn't been easy, especially for him. He's had a long journey from, he would do shows, where people have chicken dinner. Now, it's hard to do a show when people have a chicken dinner. Get people to stop eating to watch you. And then he moved his way up to doing arenas or whatever it is that he does, those big 1,000-people shows. And he just kept trudging along and keep working hard. And he's my inspiration. And so I never had to work quite as hard as he did. But we've come to do it together, and we're thankful for it, because we know it's difficult to have... when you don't have what you want career-wise in a relationship, and the other person has it. But for me, I would give up everything for him, because he has always been the musical genius. He's wanted this since he was a little boy. He could play anything on the piano. If he could hear it, he could play it. And I just believe in his talent and his gift so much that I would just, here, you take it all, babe.
Wow.
I want you to succeed.